ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिर्वोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यभिमः योगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ So third mantra says Jagrita sthanah bahishprajnah saptangah ekonavimshati mukhah sthulabhuk vaishwanarah prathamah padah. So most of the words have been explained, and only thing is now the question was raised is why word saptanga has been used, because that is applicable to a Virat, and this is we are talking about Atma. And it has four padas, that is fine. One is a Vishwa, then the Taijasa, Prajna, of course. All these three padas are then. Fourth is himself, which is present in all the three, but yet distinct from all the three. So that is fine. But why is, in the first pada, we're talking about Vishwa, why this Virat is included? So that has been answered by Bhashyakara. Bhashyakara says, well, this is how it is, because Vishwa Virat both are basically same. The differences are of Upadhi. One is having a Vyashti Upadhi, other is having a Samashti Upadhi, Karana Sharira, Maya. And Upadhi being Mithya, the Veda between them also is Mithya. Like the difference between a room space and a pot space is due to Upadhi. And that Upadhi, well, of course, and so Upadhi cannot create the real Veda in this space. Example as a limitation. So I can't say, well, Upadhi, pot is mithya and space is reality. I can't say that way. But the pot space and room space basically can be created by pot and room if space could be divided. If space could not be divided, well, then in that case, pot space and room space is in the person's mind. Really speaking, there is no division. So Vyashti and Samashti, room space and pot space. Since space cannot be divided. In that case, this division is mithya. So same way Vyashti Upadhi is mithya. We have to take it as space. Pot space is space. That's reality. Pot space is mithya. Room space is mithya. Space is reality. Like that. And that way, we can easily equate, because pot space and room space both ultimately space only, which is one, non-dual. Same way here also, Vyashti Samashti Bheda is basically, they are mithya. And therefore you can put in equation. You can equate them. While talking about various padas, you can equate them. So, and it is better to equate from beginning, not at the end. Not at the end, that while talking about Turiya, Turiya is Atma and that is Brahman. Not that way. from the beginning itself, because there is one non-dual Brahman, and therefore there cannot be any division. Vyashti Samashti Bheda itself is like the non-dual space, one non-dual space. And the same way here, one non-dual Brahman. And therefore, you can, from the beginning itself, you can resolve. Or you can, even Vyashti Samashti, when this Vyashti Samashti, the gross, the gross body, etc., means the consciousness associated with the gross body, etc., and the consciousness associated with the gross prapancha, etc., is a fact, and its cause is the second pada, its cause is the third pada, and ultimately its cause, or it is sustained by the Turiya, etc., even Karana also, Maya, etc. And in that, so that way also, there is no Bheda at all. So it should be equated. And, and this, so I'm not able to actually, class has already started, so, so Mandukya class. I'll talk to you after the class. Yeah, okay. No problem. And Shankaracharya ji supports by quoting some Ninda Shruti, where Vyashti is seen, Vyashti is looked upon as a Virat. So then it said this, you are neglecting Virat while talking Vyashti. That should not be the case. And so that is criticized here by some Ninda Shruti, Murdhate Vyapatishyata ityadi linga darshanach. Means to say Vyashti is Samashti. Well, that is not correct. So, for that, the whole thing which we also saw, and this in Chandogya, it comes in the 5th chapter, where there is a upasanas, etc. So, some disciples went to the teacher, and the teacher was, of course, a king Ashwapati, and the students were practicing Virat Upasana, but instead of taking the whole universe as the Virat, they are taking just one portion as the Virat. And so, that portion is pervaded by Virat, that's fine. But that is the Virat. No. So that they were not understanding properly the Virat. And so, one Shishya said, I meditate upon the heaven as the Virat. And somebody said, I meditate upon the Sandeha as a Virat. Somebody said, I meditate upon the sun as a Virat. And then teacher heard all this, because teacher must have asked, what do you meditate, how do you meditate, etc. And then teacher felt that this is not correct, because what they are meditating upon is just a Vyashti. One limb of the entire Virat. And so they are doing basically Vyashti Upasana, Vyastha Upasana, rather than Samashti Upasana. But they think Vyashti Upasana is Samashti Upasana. That is the Virat they were thinking. Sun is the Virat. Sun is Parmeshwara. That's it. What about other things? No. Sun is Parmeshwara. So like that, they were worshipping on just limbs of the Virat. Thinking each limb as the Virat only. So anyway, then, teacher said to indicate the false statement, to say that, the sun is Virat, to indicate that is a false statement, he said, Murdhate Vyapatishyata. Means your head will fall off. If I say your head will fall off, and then definitely your head falls off. Is this true? No. Means your head will fall off is a false statement. Same way, sun is Virat. I am worshipping sun as Virat. Sun is Virat. Sun is Virat. Sun is Virat. I am meditating like that. Therefore, sun has become Virat. There is nothing else Virat. The sun only is Virat. Will it become like that? No. So therefore, to indicate a false statement, he criticizes in this manner. So this is a ninda. And so he said Murdhate Vyapatishyat. Because what happens is Murdha means this heaven. Heaven is Virat, means definitely that's a false thing. Heaven is just a head of the Virat, and he meditates like this, so means he is doing a Vyashti Upasana, and therefore your head will fall. Means if you look upon the head upon of the Virat as just Virat, head is the Virat, in that case you are doing Vyashti Upasana, head is one of the limb of Virat. You should meditate upon head, of course. You can meditate upon heaven, I'm sorry. You can look upon the heaven, but as a head of the Virat. Then in your mind there is this Samashti. You think that heaven alone is the Virat. That is the wrong thing. And therefore, and so correspondingly, what will happen? Well, the person's Vyashti's head will fall off. So Samashti's head, you are committing mistake there regarding the head of the Virat, and that mistake, definitely you pay off for your mistake in terms of a corresponding limb in a Vyashti also. So Vyashti Samashti Abheda has been indicated like this here. So anyway, and then somebody is taking the sun as the Virat, but sun is basically just a eyes of the Virat. So for that mistake, what will happen to this Upasaka? What will he lose? He will lose his eyes. So Vyashti's eyes are lost. If you do a mistake regarding the eyes of the Virat, if you do a mistake taking just the sun as the Virat, which is the eyes of the Virat, if you do commit a mistake thinking just a limb as the whole, then definitely you are not justifying properly. You are committing a mistake. So corresponding limb also, what is a limb in the Samashti, in a Virat Purusha? Here in a Vyashti, what is a corresponding limb is eyes. So you will lose eyes. So that is indicating Vyashti Samashti Abheda. So that's how it has been shown. Very, very typically it has been shown here. Anyway, so because of for incomplete meditation, well, this is how this kind of a thing will happen. And so he very ingeniously Acharya connects all this thing. Punishment in terms of not doing proper. So this king basically, he's indirectly sending a message of Vyashti Samashti Aikyam, because a corresponding limb will be lost in a Vyashti if you commit a mistake of the same limb in a Samashti. So that shows Vyashti Samashti Aikyam. That's how it is. And then, he said, meditate upon, I'm going to describe Virat for you, and then meditate upon Virat with the totality, and you can still continue continue the meditation of the Virat, and with a alambana of heaven or sun or anything. But keep in mind that is limb, or these are just eyes of the Virat. This is a head of the Virat. You should think that way. Even we do that. When we do Upasana, suppose, sometimes you focus on the legs, of the Ishvara, right? Sometimes you just keep head in your mind and meditate. That's there. But it's a head. You don't take just head as the Vishnu. No. It's a head of Vishnu. But you focus on head. When you focus on head, you are definitely meditating on Vishnu. But in your mind very clear that it is a head of Vishnu. Head is not Vishnu. Yeah, that's a false thing. Vishnu means what? This just head. It's not like a Rahu or something. So basically it's not like that. So this is how one should know the Virat. And so he said, that mantra we saw, that which is describing Satanga 5:18:2. Tasya havai tasya atmanah vaishvanarasya murdha eva sutejaha chakshuhu vishwarupaha pranaha puthakvartvatma sandeha bahulaha basti eva raihi prithvi eva pado, etc., etc. We know that. So he introduced this. The teacher introduced that this is how the Virat is. So, what you are worshipping is just one limb of the Virat, and so rectify your mistake. And there, as I told you, murdhate, vyapatishyate, etc., well, you will lose your head, etc. Don't take it that way. Just to indicate that the person's corresponding limb, like the Virat's limbs, well, whatever the Virat's limbs are there, and if he commits a mistake and doing a wrong upasana, then a corresponding limb only will be lost. So indicating Vyashti Samashti Aikyam. So we have to take it that way. That's how it is in Ninda Shruti. So ityadi linga darshanachya. This is a clue for us. It's an indication for us to infer Vyashti Samashti Aikyam. With this, murdhate vyapatishyata, indicating that your head will fall, means he has definitely committed a mistake regarding the head of the Virat. Therefore, Vyashti Samashti Aikyam is there, that we can infer from this statement. Murdhate vyapatishyata, well, from that becomes a lingam. It's a hetu, actually. It's a hetu. Murdhate vyapatishyata ityadi linga darshanachya, Bhashyakara says. Lingam means, well, this is a clue. From lingam, we can understand that. Because in Anumana inference, you need a lingam. So this is how it is. Okay. Then Bhashyakara says further, Viraja ekatvam upalakshanartham Hiranyagarbha avyakrita atmanoho. So then extend rule now. If Vyashti Samashti Aikyam, which is discussed in a Prathama Pada, that Aikyam is discussed, then in second Pada and third Pada also whatever Vyashti Samashti is there also we have to see the Aikyam. So Vishwa Viraja ekatvam upalakshanartham. Upalakshana is again indication. It's a clue for what? Well, there will be Vyashti Samashti Aikyam in a Dvitiya Pada also. Hiranyagarbha avyakrita atmanoho. So, Hiranyagarbha avyakrita atma has Aikyam. No. So, we have to take it Hiranyagarbha basically with the Taijasa. So, Hiranyagarbha Taijasa ekatvam. And avyakrita, see, because the Atma has been shown. Atma in a Prathama Pada is Vishwa, right? So, what Atma has been used. So, here, you can see Hiranyagarbha avyakrita atmanoho. So Hiranyagarbha with the Atma in a second pada. We should take that way. Hiranyagarbha and Atma in second pada is Taijasa. And therefore Hiranyagarbha Taijasa atmanoho. Or Hiranyagarbha Taijasoho. That's how it is. And same way, avyakrita and Prajna ekatvam. So Atma is there. And the Dvitiya Pada Atma is Taijasa. Atma and Tritiya Pada is Prajna. So that is how Taijasa word you have to understand it through that word Atma. Atma in Prathama Pada is a Vishwa. Pratyeka Atma. So Hiranyagarbha Taijasoho or Taijasa Hiranyagarbhayoho and Prajna Vyakrita Atmanoho cha ekatvam. And for that he gives a quotation, Uktamcha. For quotation for what? To indicate the Aikyam of Vyashti Samashti in a Dvitiya Pada. That is, the Aikyam between Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, Vyashti Samashti. For that he quotes a Virat Upasana statement. Uktamcha etat, this has been said. Shrutya. We have to supply this. Shrutya Uktam. Well, this has been said by Shruti. Etat. What is that? Etat Nadu Brahmani. Etat means this Aikyam. We have to supply. To understand Bhashyam, if you will be comfortable with Bhashyam only when you are able to replace the Sarvanama by proper nama. So, Etat Uktam means this Vyashti Samashti Aikyam or Hiranyagarbha Taijasoho Aikyam Uktam. Vridhana Shrutya Uktam. Where Madhu Brahmane, in Madhu Brahmana. And number is given 251. What is the mantra? Yaschayam asyam prithvivyam tejomayaha amrutamayaha purushah. So here this Tejomayaha, Amrutamayaha Purusha is basically Devatas, various Devatas. We can say even the Devata, the Sukshma Sharira. Means because Asyam Pruthivyam, this Prithvi, this earth, means which is gross. Asyam Pruthivyam Tejomayaha Purusha. In every gross object, there is a Devata, Sukshma Sharira. In every gross body, there is a Sukshma Sharira. And that Sukshma Sharira is called Taijasa, etc. Tejomayaha, etc. That is very simple. We'll come to that. So Prithvi is this earth, Sthulam. And behind Sthula Prithvi, there is corresponding Prithvi Devata. And Prithvi Devata is Sukshma Sharira. And Sukshma Sharira of the Prithvi. Prithvi Devata becomes a Sukshma Sharira of the gross Prithvi. And that is called Tejomayaha, Amrutamayaha Purusha. Means this even in a Gayatri Upasana we do the same thing. Dheya Sada Savitru Mandala Madhyavarti, etc. etc. Savitru Mandala means Aditya Mandala, this solar disk. Dheya, there you worship the Surya Devata. So in that gross object, solar disk, that cannot answer your prayer, right? In Gayatri. So there must be a Purusha there, Devata there. And Devata must be that, then Sukshma Sharira. But Swamiji, Sukshma Sharira cannot be Devata. Sukshma Sharira is conscious. No Sukshma Sharira is without consciousness. No mirror is without sun. If sun is there, I mean, the example has its limitation. Sun is there, mirror is there, reflection will be there. In our case, reflection will be all the time, because this sun, it can never go. That sun can go here and there and rise, sunrise and sunset. And this sun never goes. So, it never comes and never goes. Everything comes and goes in that. Okay? Everything comes and goes, so-called. Is ayaram gayaram business, is of this world. You never go, you are kutasthaha. Kute tishtati. You cannot go. You are whole. There is nothing other than you. So, the place which you imagine that where the Atma may not be, that is already Atma. Atma has already reached there. Yeah. That is, Ishavasya talks so beautifully, my God. Says what is that? Manaso javiya. It goes faster than the mind and this. Because mind is the fastest. It reaches to India within 1 minute, right? But wherever mind runs, Atma is already there. Therefore, Atma is faster than the mind. The Atma is already reached. So, therefore, the place shines in the Atma, and the concept of anything also shines in Atma. So, Tejomayaha. Devatas are basically, they are all Sukshma Shariras. And that is how all, one who has an identification with all Devatas, has eye sense in all the Devatas, who is a Prathamaja, who is born first, is a Hiranyagarbha. Hiranyagarbha is the boss of all the Devatas. So what is the Devata which is present in Sun, the Devatas which is present in Vayu as a Vayu Devata, Devata present in Agni, Agni Devata. So any gross object is able to function. We have seen that. So Adhideva. But Swamiji, you said Adhideva Virat. But Virat comes from what? This I will call Ishvara also as Adhideva. Ishvara is basically the boss of all the Devatas. No, Hiranyagarbha. Okay. There are no two entities, Ishvara and Hiranyagarbha. Ishvara alone manifests, identifies with the entire Sukshma Prapancha, means including all subtle bodies present in any object, present in this body or present in sun, present in water or present in this Sukshma Sharira. So all, here also Sukshma Sharira, all Devatas, Indriya, all Devatas, Prana, Devata, mind, Devata. That's how we have that conscious, the intelligent principle which manifest. That's the Sukshma Sharira. So various Devatas are there, and one who identifies with all Devatas means all Sukshma Shariras. That is Hiranyagarbha, Samashti, Sthula, Samasti Sukshma Sharira, you can say. This is a Vyashti. So Tejomaya. So Madhu Brahmana basically, the Sukshma Sharira behind the individual and the Sukshma Sharira behind all entire Sukshma Prapancha. Well, is basically this Hiranyagarbha, and here it is Taijasa. And here word use is Purusha. Purusha does not mean Atma here. Purusha means this Devata. Tejomaya, because all the time associated, all the time having Chidabhasa. Sukshma Sharira means Chidabhasa. Is all the time conscious. Yeah. Sukshma Sharira is all the time conscious. Endowed with Chidabhasa. Even if it leaves a gross body. Sukshma Sharira goes. That's how we call Jiva goes. Endowed with this Pratibimba. That's how we worship the various aspects in the gross world. So when we invoke a Devata in that gross object, so Devata means this Sukshma Sharira. So Yashayam, Yashayam Asyam Prithivyaam Tejomayaha Amrutamayaha. What is present in this Adhibhuta is this Adhideva, we talked that way. Yashayam Adhyatmam. See, the corresponding Prithvi Devata which is in the Samashti, in the Adhibhuta, is also present in the individual level at every body. So there is a Taijasa. So Adhyatma is here in individual body. So what is there is the Sukshma Sharira. There also in Prithvi, and here also means Samashti Sukshma Sharira. So Tejomayaha Amrutamayaha Purusha, the Sukshma Sharira behind the body and Sukshma Sharira behind the earth. Well, Vyashti and Samashti, they are equated. Yascha, so it has been said like this: Asyam Prithivyaam Yaha Tejomayaha Purushaha. So Yashayam Adhyatmam. Then Bhashyakara did not say, but in the Upanishad it is there. Saha Ayameva. Well, Saha Ayameva means that Devata which is present in the Prithvi, which is nothing but a Sukshma Sharira, and the Devata which is present here in this cross body is also Sukshma Sharira. So it's the same Devata. Means it is what is present in Vyashti is nothing but the Samashti. That's a Hiranyagarbha. So here Sukshma Sharira also is Tejomaya, and that Sukshma Sharira also is Tejomaya. So it indicates a Taijasa Hiranyagarbha Aikyam. It is in Madhu Brahmana. And third Aikyam is Prajna Antaryami. And Shankaracharya ji doesn't quote because this quotation sometimes is a big issue. Anyway, so Bhashyakara does not give any quotation for Prajna and Antaryami because it is associated with the Karana. Karana means what? You need not have to establish Vyashti Samashti Aikyam for Karana. Because here Karana is something where differences are resolved. Karana manifests as a Karya, differences appear. That's how Vyakrutam. Karanam is Avyakrutam. So far as the clay is concerned, it is fine. But once a pot and leads and a jar and everything comes out, then all differences you find. So there you have to say this is bigger and this is smaller and all that. Any attributes. So Vyashti Samashti Bheda, you say in a Karya. So in the Prathama Pada, of course, Sthula Sharira, consciousness as Atma, Prathama Pada. So Vishwa and Virat. And Taijasa and Hiranyagarbha, because that is Karya. So there it's a Vyakrutam, differentiated. But in a Karana, nothing. So therefore, Bhashyakara had not to quote anything, did not have to say. That Aikyam is Siddham. That's what he says. Ekatvam Siddhaveva. Vyashti Samashtyoho Aikyam Siddham. Because Karana Avastha. In a Tritiya Pada. So Sushupta Vyakrutayoho Sushupta Vyakrutayoh tu ekatvam siddhameva nirvisheshatvat. Vishesha means differences. Nirvisheshatvat. Just because the differences are not there, that's a once experience. That's how Bhashyakara said ekatvam siddham. Once you sleep, your own world and this world, Samashti, and your own world, Vyashti, resolves. Everything resolves. But Swamiji, what is my world? What you say is aham and what you say is mine is your world. That's it. My father, my mother, my wife, all this resolve. Aham also resolves. Aham in terms of I am a human being, I am this, I am good, bad, I am manager, that. Everything. This is my world. And other than that world for which you have most of the things in the world for, it is, they talk about likes, dislikes and indifference. But for the objects in the world, this indifference is there for 98% of the objects. You have thank God, you have this much likes and dislikes also create problem. But anyway, likes and dislikes are for any individual, especially we are talking about the human being. Likes and dislikes are there for few objects. You just see, during a waking state, you just move around. Suppose you go for a walk. How many things really you feel that, oh, this thing I should have it. I have a strong desire. Thousands of things you don't care, starting from the grass and this and that. You just don't bother about it. You experience, but it doesn't give you any kind of a kick or it doesn't create any kind of a reaction from you. So this is very good. So 98% of the objects of the world you are indifferent of. Only 2%. That's your world. That's your world. And whatever you place, wherever you place the sense of I and extension of I, that's your world. That is mine. So family, etc. This is your world. That world and the rest of the world, indifferent. Everything resolves. Vyashti Samashti resolves. Therefore, it is one's own experience. So, when differences are not recognizable, then we call Karanavastha. So, Sushupti we call Karanavastha. So, same way here also in creation, there is a Karanavastha. When the Karanavastha comes, Vyashti Samashti, differences are resolved. So, we call it as undifferentiated state also. Evam cha sati. This being so. This being so means Vyashti Samashti being one alone. There is a aikyam between Vyashti and Samashti. In all the three padas, Prathama, Dvitiya and Tritiya pada of the Atma, Sarva Advaita Upashaming. When you resolve the Vyashti, parallelly you are resolving Samashti also. So Sarva Advaita Upashaming. Vyashti resolves and Samashti remain cannot be. So when Vyashti resolves, Samashti also resolves because they are one and the same ultimately. Differences are not real differences. So Sarva Advaita Upashama takes place. So this is how Advaitam Bhavishyati, Siddham Bhavishyati. Then in that case, you will be Evam cha sati, Etat Siddham Bhavati. Etat means Advaitam. Well, definitely Siddham Bhavishyati. Say, Advaita is there. For you it is now, it will be when you resolve. Bhavishyati means when you reach to Turiya. Then, right? Right now also it is not there, but when you come to the Turiya, you find, oh, everything has resolved. Vyashti Samashti both have gone. Anyway, so Sarva Advaita Upashame, Advaitam Bhavishyati. Advaita will be automatically be remaining as the Adhishthanam, which is Turiya, when the Advaitam is resolved. You have started resolving from the beginning itself. And when you reach to Turiya, well, already one Adhishthanam is left, which is the Adhishthanam of this Vyashti and Samashti, which both are superimposed. Or the same Adhishthanam is looked upon as Vyashti Samashti due to difference in Upadhis, either Avidya and Maya. And Swamiji talks about that Anandgiri also. He writes a very beautiful note and that you must be knowing also, but I will just say I already talked about it. So Advaitam, which is Nirvikalpam, etc. So here it says Advaita Upashami, means resolution of Advaita, etc. So resolution of Advaita, resolution of Dvaitam happens in Sushupti and Samadhi also. Why we should do all this and create all headache in, all this cognitive business? Very difficult. Instead, we have an experience also in deep sleep state. Already this you said Vyashti Samashti Veda goes away. So there is a Dvaita Upashama resolution and you come to Advaita. So then, automatically moksha will be there. Anandgiri says Upashamecha Advaitam. So the word Chakara Bhashyakara is he has used it. It signifies one thing, that Advaitam should not be merely resolved by withdrawal, etc. That's a withdrawal, natural withdrawal. In a Samadhi, of course, it is a deliberate withdrawal. And through Ashtanga Yoga, etc., you resolve deliberately and reach that Nirvikalpaka Samadhi, etc. And this is also Nirvikalpaka Avastha, Karana Avastha, our Sushupti also. So that kind of a withdrawal need not be either natural or deliberate. And that will not stay for long. That will not stay. From a Samadhi also Vithanam will be there. Person comes out and then again experiences Dvaitam. And from the deep sleep state also you wake up and into this waking state and you experience Dvaitam. And therefore the resolution of a Dvaitam, Dvaita Upashama, is temporary. It's temporary. What we are talking is Adhishthanam, which is Advaitam. In fact, what you say is see as Advaitam is Mithya. So you understanding Dvaitam as a Mithya is a permanent resolution. So that is needed. That is to be understood. It's a cognitive thing. Here it is not a withdrawal. It's a cognitive. So basically that he talks here. So Guru Shastra Upadeshena Advaita Upashame Advaita Siddhi. So Chakara. Anandgiri says the Chakara Bhashkara has used Sarvadvaita Upashame Cha Advaitam Bhavati. The Chakara is not by indicating, Anandgiri says Chakara of the Bhashyakara is not indicating that through Sushupti or Samadhi, etc. Here we have to understand Guru Shastra Upadeshena. Well, definitely Advaita Upashame, Dvaita Upashame Advaita Siddhi. We have to understand that. That is Jnanena, through Jnana. So with this, the first mantra is over. Jagrita Sthanaha, Bahishprajnaha, Saptangaha, Ekonavimshati Mukhaha, Sthulabhuk, Vaishwanaraha, Prathama Pada. This is the Pada, Prathama Pada, the first quarter of the Atma. Brahmatma, if you want to say, because I am Atma Brahma. Then the second mantra, Sapnasthanaha Antahprajnaha Saptangaha Ekonavimshati Mukhaha Pravivikta Bhuk Taijasaha Dvitiyah Padaha. So here it says Sapnasthanaha. See, this word indicates that it is indicating something different. Sthanam word is there. So there's a lut pratyaya, sthadhatu, lut pratyaya is there. That supplies anam, and so it's by default it is a neuter word. So like man dhatu is there, you add a lut pratyaya, becomes mananam. Sthadhatu becomes sthanam. Dhya dhatu becomes dhyanam. There can never be dhyanaha. There can never be mananaha. It's a mananam. So stha also becomes sthanam. But here it says sapnasthanaha. Oh, that must be bahuri. Because anyapada pradhanaha. And therefore, definitely, sapnaha sthanam asya. Sapnaha is a pullinga word, I'm sorry. Sapnaha sthanam asya. Asya atmanaha. That's a pullinga. Atma word is a pullinga. So, sapnaha sthanam asya atmanaha saha atma sapnasthanaha. The consciousness which obtains in dream state is this is the second quarter of the Atma. Consciousness obtained in the waking state. The consciousness which is externally available. Yeah, that's a waking state. Consciousness externally available. Consciousness as though goes out, contacts the world. Right? Contacts the world. World cannot reveal itself. If world is revealed, consciousness has gone, pervaded that object, definitely. How consciousness can go on? You only said it is in form of Chidabhasa, Phalavyapti. So here Swapnasthanaha ekonavimshati mukha, antaprajnaha, etc. Well, so antaprajnaha, we will be seeing that it is coming. So antaprajnaha, so it is not, as I told you, the consciousness is not extrovert. Consciousness is not revealing anything in the external world. Consciousness which is revealing a inner world. Antaprajnaha. Ekonavimshati mukha. It also has the same like like a Jagrita Sthana, like the Vishwa or the Waker. This dreamer also has a 19 limbs. And Satanga, again. Satanga. These two words Bhashyakara will explain at the end of this explanation of the mantra. Satanga and Ekonavimshati Mukha. And probably with the book, etc. Okay. So let's read now Bhashyam. Sapnaha sthanam asya taijasasya. Sapna sthana. Jagrat prajna aneka sadhana bahir vishaya iva avabhasamana manaspanda matra sati tatha bhutam samskaram manasi adhatte. So, first word is Swapnasthana. And Shankaracharya ji gave this Vigraha Vakya also that we saw. And it says here, now the question will be in this phenomena of this dream. The first question is, how does dream take place? So, Taijasa, Swamiji, you said it's a consciousness which obtains in the dream state. You said Sapnasthana. And Bhashyakara said Sapnaha sthanam asya taijasasya. You said Atmanaha. Taijasa is Atma. Taijasa is Atma. If you find in your mind a difference between Taijasa and Atma, then you have not understood. Taijasa is Atma. Any qualified consciousness is consciousness. Taijasa is a dreamer conscious. Please, I have a small request to you. You all the time when I say anything about world or anything, you always keep in your mind that is consciousness. That's it. Nothing else. Qualified consciousness is consciousness. Any thought form, right? Thought consciousness, any thought form, let's say, let me put it differently. Any thought form is a form of consciousness. Any thought form is a form of consciousness. Any sense organ is also a form. That form, eyes, particular form, whatever, that eyes is eyes consciousness. And that is mithya. Same way, any form outside of the external world is a form of consciousness, is equal to consciousness. That's it. How can you say? Please listen Pujya Swamiji's meditation. Okay? Yeah. And I have already requested you, and this is how it is. Any form of consciousness is consciousness. No, Swamiji, form consciousness and consciousness are different. Form is mithya. In fact, consciousness, it's a form of consciousness, means it is a mithya form. Consciousness which is formless appear as a so-called form. Appear in the form of all the thoughts. Appear in the form of memory, appear in the form of a sense organ, appear in the form of perception, appear one non-dual whole thing. So that in our mind, we should have that wholeness. I mean, there should not be a division. all division, Dvaitam is simply mithya. And that's our experience, and we are analyzing our experience. We have an experience of Dvaitam. Please understand. If Advaitam is reality, why do you talk about Dvaitam at all? Because your experience is revealing Dvaitam as such. Experience of Dvaitam. You are experiencer. The world is object of experience. You cannot deny it. You just cannot deny it. Either a waking or a dream or whatever. And therefore, we have to take that experience and arrive at the non-duality which is there behind the duality. And that is also your experience. You only are in the form of the whole. You are in the form of it's coming here itself. You are in the form of a dreamer, dream body, dream sense organ. They say ekonavimshati mukha. You are in the form of the dreamer, and you are in the form of a dream objects. And you are in the form of a dream experience between dreamer and the dream objects. Everything is one whole. You are that. The dreamer body is you. Dreamer body is non-separate from you and all that. Ultimately, dreamer body is you. Dreamer eyes is you. And you are not that. It's simply your appearance. So one whole you, the waker, with a upadhi, karana, ignorance, deep sleep, well, that's avarana. And it has vikshepa in form of subject-object. One whole. So he explains now this phenomena of dream. How does dream takes place? And it's of course, Acharya wants to give a Vedantic explanation. And Jagrat Prajna Aneka Sadhana Bahir Vishaya Iva Vabhasamana Manaspanda Matra Sati Tatha Bhutam Sanskaram Manasi Adhatte. So, Waker has several experiences gained through Pancha Jnanendriyas, and Karmendriyas, and Takarana, etc., and Pranas also, which contact the external world, and out of that contact is generated what? Waker's experiences. That's the first thing. And all these experiences which are generated, experiencer is a mind, ahankara. I would not call manaha, I would call it ego, the ahankara. So ahankara alone experiences. Mind experiences is a not correct way. Ahankara experiences. And ahankara as experiencer, of course it's a conscious mind. It's also recorder. So all the things are recorded now. So the experiences are recorded. And experience, that's a way of explained by Swamiji, and I really liked it. And that is once they are experienced, they are recorded in not the whole experience, but the image or impression of the experience are recorded. He's going to quote, Bhashyakara is going to quote also from the Upanishad that this is how it is actually. And in form of a samskara as we call it. So Jagrat Prajna Aneka Sadhana Bahir Vishaya Iva Avabhasamana, etc. So Jagrat Sadhana, Jagrat Prajna, Jagrat Prajna means Jagrat Anubhava. Jagrat Anubhava Aneka Sadhana. So definitely the waker's experiences which are generated by Aneka Sadhana, which are generated by the different instruments. Here sadhana means an instrument. Why it is sadhana? Because it's a bahuri. We'll see that. It's a, so aneka sadhana is an adjective. Let me complete first. Aneka sadhana is an adjective to Jagrat Prajna. Bahir Vishaya Iva Avabhasamana is a Bahir Vishaya is also Bahir Vishaya Iva. That Bahir Vishaya of course applies to Jagrat Prajna as an adjective. Avabhasamana, or you can take Bahir Vishaya Iva Avabhasamana is an adjective to the Jagrat Prajna. Manaspanda Matra also is an adjective to the Jagrat Prajna. Anyway, So Jagrat Prajna means the Jagrat Anubhava. So the experiences which are generated in a waking state by the different instruments, sadhana, means there are different instruments like Gnanendriya and mind, etc. And of course physical body is required, and which has a golakas, etc. Anyway, so that will bahirvishaya iva, and those experiences are centered on external objects in a waking state. In a waking state. Now, Aneka Sadhana, as I said, Aneka Sadhana is an adjective to the Jagrat Prajna. So, Aneka Sadhana, as I told you, Sadhanam is a word. Sadhadhatu, again Lut Pratyaya, Sadhanam only is a word. Sadhanam has become Sadhana, therefore it's adjective. Adjective to feminine word, Jagrat Prajna. And its Vigraha will be Aneka Sadhanani, Yasyaha, Prajnayaha, Sa Prajna, Aneka Sadhana Prajna. So this Prajna means he experiences, every waker's experiences is born of, well, through various instruments, mind, sense organs, of course body also, you have to take it. So this is all, and it is based on external, bahirvishaya eva, it is external, centered on external object. And then it says what? Manaspanda matra bahirvishaya iva avabhasamana. So Eva I am going to explain you, but here it is in case of us, in a dream, now in case of dream state. Waking, of course it is bahirvishaya, but in case of a dream, bahirvishaya eva, as though bahirvishaya, as though external. Because for a dreamer, the dream is not a dream. For a dreamer, dream is not a dream. So, in a dream, well, he creates a dream body and all the objects, etc. And the dream objects are external, right? Dream objects are external. If dream objects are external and we are discussing dream state, it should be told bahirvishaya only. Eva, why eva? As though, because all this we are understanding, right now we are doing analysis of all these states in a waking state. Nobody does this analysis in a dream state. So when you are in a waking and talking about dream, then it is as though external, right? In a waking state, when you take a reference point of a waker who is trying to understand all these things, for that person, the dream experience in the dream objects and all that, the dream world, etc., is eva, as though external. It is not external. So then manaspanda matra, it is the spandanam of the mind. All the experience in the waking, well, in the form of course, thought modification, but then definitely they have been taken in form of impressions. That is just a manaspanda matram. Then those impressions definitely is the modification of mind. There is no other external world in that. Anyway, just a vibration of a mind, throbbing of a mind. This being so, well, tatha bhutam samskaram, etc. Every experience generate a similar vasana, etc. So that I will explain you in the next class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.